One of the questions we're most frequently asked is whether or not it's worth hiring one of the top personal injury lawyers when you consider the cost of hiring one. How do we add enough to the total pie to justify the slice of it that we take for our fees? There's two main answers to that question, in my opinion. The first one is that sometimes we find liability in places that other people wouldn't necessarily think to find that liability. A good example is a client of ours who was injured on the job when a heavy garage door, an industrial sized garage door, fell on him, hurting him. Extremely heavy, piece of metal that wound up causing serious permanent injuries to him. Now, he had a workers' compensation claim and we handled that for him, but we saw a personal injury claim where he thought there should be one, but the liability carrier for the defendant didn't think there should be one. And here's what happened. The defendant was a company that had gone in and maintained the garage door just before it fell. That's how our client knew something was wrong with it, because that had never happened before. What we were able to discover was they put a motor on the garage door that didn't have enough horsepower to actually pull up this industrial sized door because it was so heavy, so much more than what your personal garage door would be. We were able to prove that because that motor didn't have enough horsepower, it eventually lost its pull on the door and allowed it to slam shut just as our client was going under it. That's how he got hurt, and we turned a $0 offer before he came to us. In fact, we turned their refusal to accept any responsibility into over $150,000 for our client on top of his workers' compensation case. That's a great example of growing the pie to justify our slice of it by finding liability. Another way that we can improve a case is by finding damages that even the insurance carrier wouldn't normally think of when they're looking at a case. In a recent case, we represented a woman who was driving and was a victim of a motor vehicle collision with a drunk driver. Now, ordinarily you would think that the insurance company would have no problem paying any damages that came out of that. But the issue was our client treated for less than $10,000 worth of damages, in part because she had good insurance. And the insurance company said, hey, we'll pay you for that, but that's it. The problem was she had far more going on than that. It had affected her job, it had affected her, how comfortable she was with driving. And the insurance company didn't want to acknowledge any of those things. We went in, we got video of the area, and we reconstructed how horribly this person had been driving while they were drunk. And we're able to present that to the insurance company in such a way that it was visually compelling to them. And by the end of it, we took what had been a $6,000 offer before our client came to us into over a $100,000 offer, just by making them realize that our client was justified in feeling the way she felt following this collision. Again, we grow the pie so that by the time we take our fees out, that slice is completely justifiable and our client still winds up ahead. If you're wondering whether we can do that for you, give us a call at Lawrence & Associates.